Hello, everyone. We good on the levels? Nice to see you all. Happy to be invited here to talk for a few minutes about a fun module called Request. Many of you may have heard of it if you do certainly some server-side stuff, some of the front-enders maybe. This is a pretty cool little module that helps you very easily and simply make requests, and not just gets, but puts and posts and stuff like that. My name's Greg Cardoni, as it says here. Work at a company called Hone. We're doing some cool stuff. I'll circle back to that at the end, but we'll get going here. So like right off the bat, just simple little example here of like doing a straight HTTP GET request. Request supports obviously HTTPS. It'll do some fun stuff like follow redirects. I don't know how many of you guys have ever like sanity checked that you have internet connection and you do a quick curl to Google and then you get the like there's nothing here and you have to put the W's in there. So it'll follow things like that. Then I'll tab over to a little example of this. Cool. So same code that we just saw. Simple little thing. Going to request JS.LA, setting that as our URL, pass it into request here, and then I get back either an error and then response and ultimately a body. Cool. Bump this up so maybe we could see it. That might be fun. All right, so if my internet works, we should see a bunch of HTML. Oh no. Oh dear. Well, we'll have to pretend like it works in this case. But yeah, what you would get back is the complete response of whatever you normally would render in Chrome if you were hitting JSLA in this case. So back to the old presentation. So simple HTTP calls are just like super simple, super awesome. Right there, simple request, boom, done. You can also stream stuff too. So I can, in this instance, this example here, which I won't demo without the internet, requesting an image, in this case, some image of some flowers, and then piping that directly into Node's file system and writing that to, in this case, the same directory that I would run this in. So that's neat. Oh, I should also mention that when you're doing streaming and you are streaming a put or a post, it will set the content type automatically based, in this case, just on the file extension. So request has its own sort of mapping of file extensions in which content type those map to, and it'll set that in your header. You could, of course, override that if you'd like, but it's pretty nice to have that be handled automatically. Cool little feature. You can do a GET and then pipe it directly into another put. So in this example, if you needed to request an image or something, and from another site, you'd get that, as you can see here down at the bottom, and you'd pipe it directly into a put or wherever you want to send that. And then you can also handle these events pretty easily, or rather, you can listen for various events. Response is an event, data is an event. In this case, error is an event, right? So you can see at the bottom, same sort of thing, doing a simple GET, and then we're listening if there's an error. In this case, we're not really handling it. We're just printing that to the console. An example of like listening for another thing, like if you listened for a data event and you were streaming a file, you could like, I don't know, change like the encoding maybe or something like that live, and then pipe it into whatever other thing you wanted to do. You basically just keep chaining these pipe events through request and sort of fetch something, do it over here, handle errors, emit another post to another site at the end, and sort of just kind of chain these things together. And again, their requests API is pretty straightforward, which makes it fun. There's tons of other stuff that this module does that in a little couple-minute talk wouldn't have time to go into. Obviously, you can set things like custom HTTP headers, but like I said, a lot of those things are set automatically depending on what you're doing. Like I said earlier, with setting content type based on file extension and things like that. You can very easily proxy requests as well. At our company, we recently needed to proxy some things. I don't exactly remember the reasoning, but we were doing some, what was it, like cross-origin stuff, I think. So certain requests, the cross-origin headers were not what we wanted, so we wanted to reset them. And we did that by just proxying the request through a little proxy server that we have. Request makes doing things like that pretty simple and pretty straightforward. Connect to Unix domain sockets. It handles multi-part form and uploads. Very, nice little JSON object that you just pass into request. Obviously, things like authentication, OAuth, version 1 at this time, probably V2 down the road, signing and sort of handling all of that in the same request function. And yeah, it's a really fun module. So if you guys haven't played around with it, definitely recommend playing around with it, checking it out, and that's about it. Okay.